Welcome back to another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show. Tanner is still not with us as he is on an island right now, so that lucky son of a gun. So I am joined by our good buddy, Evan Webb. He's been on a few times and co-host of the Boiler Breakdown podcast, so go check them out for all you Purdue nerds, as I like to call them. But how you doing tonight there, Webby?
Doing pretty well, Jman. How about you?
I'm doing okay. It's the best weather week of the year was last week, in my opinion.
Yep.
And by Friday here, it's supposed to be 90 degrees again. So that was that's something that I'm not looking forward to because it actually felt like football. Season.
It was a false fall. So we were going to get another heat wave at some point, but I thought maybe get a little reprieve.
Yeah, you knew summer would punch back, and unfortunately it is doing it. But anyway, football is underway. I mean, we're already week 3 of college football. It goes so dang fast. But you are a Purdue grad, so the birdie bogey question I have for you today is, can you name the top 5 career passing yardage leaders in order at Purdue, 1 through 5?
No.
I've heard of all of these guys, and four of them have played in your lifetime.
Yeah.
But Birdie or Bogey is brought to you by Arlington Public House for great cuisine, cocktails, casual atmosphere. Located 703 Main Street in Rochester, Indiana. They are closed. They're new hours. They're closed Sunday through Wednesday, and they're open 4 to 9 Thursday, 4 to 10 Friday and Saturday. And their fall specials have dropped. They have a spinach artichoke dip. Begins with blend of provolone, romano, and mozzarella cheese, incorporated with artichokes and spinach, and is accompanied by house-made tortilla chips. They have apple bacon scallops. They have bourbon chicken. And then for their drinks, they have a spiced old-fashioned, a cranberry paloma, a spiced pear martini, Arlington rum harvest, and an apple cider Aperol spritz. So go to Arlington Public House and check them out. How much football did you get to watch over the weekend?
College, not a ton, because I was at the Purdue game and went down a little early, given it was a night game, a rare night game versus an FCS opponent. So I caught a little bit of the Illinois Duke game, caught a little bit of the Indiana Kennesaw State game. That's really kind of about it outside the Purdue game. Obviously, the good game that of the night was Oklahoma and Michigan, but it was the same time as the Purdue game, so I missed that completely. And then caught a couple NFL games yesterday, so a spattering, I'd say.
I would say I caught a spattering as well. I watched the Illinois Duke game, and then that was about it on Saturday, I want to say. I was surprised when I saw it because I checked my phone at noon, and I'm like, oh, Purdue's probably kicking off or have already kicked off. I'm like, what? 6:30. I figured the USC game would maybe be the 6:30 or 7 o'clock game, and the Southern Illinois game was at the 11 o'clock Central Time hour. But I didn't watch any of it. I was just box score kind of watching, and it looked like they maybe not struggled with them, but were kind of sluggish maybe.
Yeah, it started out a little worrisome after shutting out Ball State last week. Southern Illinois got the ball first, which we knew going into the game that Southern Illinois, I think they were ranked 15th in the FCS, so you knew they weren't.
Yeah,
we're like an Indiana State. They weren't a Western Illinois type program.
The spread was very similar to the Ball State spread, which was surprising me. I think it was 19.5. It closed at or something like that.
Yeah, and so I kind of I figured they were going to probably be better than Ball State. No offense to Ball State, but just there was some roster continuity and all that. And I know apparently last year they were so injury ridden that they had to pull someone off the grad staff to play quarterback for a game. But their quarterback was pretty good, gave Purdue some trouble. Yeah, the first Illinois got the ball first and drove down the field and scored, which was a little shocking after Purdue had shut out Ball State. And then Purdue was able to answer. And then Illinois drove down in about 3 plays and scored again. And it was like, okay, this may not be the blowout we were hoping for. But Purdue answered yes. So the first 4 possessions of the game were scores. And then from there on, Purdue only gave up 3 more points. They definitely made some adjustments, which is a lot better than what we could say of last year's team. Devin Mockabee was a workhorse. He ran the ball. I meant to pull up the stats. He ran it 32 times.
Yeah.
averaged around like at one point he was averaging 6 yards a carry. Purdue just kind of out. It wasn't like the blowout you were hoping for, but I mean, what was nice from a Purdue fan standpoint was that they got hit in the mouth early, but they made adjustments, and from there on, Southern Illinois couldn't do a whole lot. Part of it was they just weren't as good, but too, I thought Purdue made some good adjustments and kept them again. They caught some breaks, couple pass interference penalties that kind of kept their first 2 drives alive. But I thought their coverage was pretty well. They forced a couple sacks in the second half, and outside of a Ryan Brown interception, didn't have too many complaints. I thought what we were kind of hoping to see was the offensive line getting a good push against an FCS opponent, as you should. They didn't really get one against Ball State, but Ball State was also packing the box with 7 to 8 guys, so they really didn't get a rushing game you were hoping for, but they had no trouble against Southern Illinois. So,
it's rare to hear a school like a Southern Illinois at an FCS level have actual continuity, especially in today's portal landscape and NIL landscape. It's got to be hard, especially for a team that came into the year ranked 15th or wherever they were in the FCS, to have all those guys return is pretty incredible, especially with, Purdue has 60 newcomers or something like that, at least
82, 83 new players. It was
undersold it.
Yeah.
But even like you head in, you play USC at home on Saturday, and then you have Notre Dame the very next week. Even though it is a Southern Illinois and you should be able to handle them, it's not the worst thing in the world to have a little bit of adversity, especially at the start of games, to kind of overcome that. And, that and we've talked about this a lot. Indiana's playing no one, and they've looked thoroughly unimpressive so far against these no ones. Kennesaw State and who'd they play week 1? Old Dominion.
Yes.
Week 1.
Yeah.
And now they have Indiana State. So
they're bad.
and they're real bad. So Indiana will have very little adversity, and they'll have to face a likely top 10 Illinois team. So that's the issue I have with not challenging yourselves in the non-conference, is you don't learn a whole lot about your team during those 3 games. I know their head coach, whose name is escaping me for some reason right now, Signetti. He's like, well, I'm just doing an SEC type schedule sort of thing, which is funny. I'll give him that.
Good. Yeah.
But you just don't learn anything about your team when you're playing in Indiana State. And then Big Ten play side, it didn't hurt them last year because they had a very soft landing into Big Ten play up until really about week 11, it seemed like. But just having a little bit of adversity. Purdue's non-con every single year feels like it's brutal for football. Now that Notre Dame's back on the schedule, it's even more so. But it seems like they're playing Power 4 opponents every single year. Yeah,
which I like. It depends on the year. Obviously this year and last year would have been probably nice to have the 3 cupcakes, but last year wouldn't have mattered anyways. We came out of the Indiana State game last year thinking this Purdue team's like pretty good, and then all of a sudden 66-7 happens against Notre Dame, so that really didn't matter. But I've always kind of been a fan of. I like playing Notre Dame despite never winning, just from growing up in the rivalry. I know Tanner's talked about like having maybe like an FCS, a MAC level school, and then either having, for Purdue's standpoint, like either Notre Dame if we can get them, or maybe like a peer program, Power 5 or Power 4, I guess now for football. I think it draws people. It makes the game more interesting. I know Purdue opened up a couple years ago with Oregon State. That was awesome, just from like these team you don't really see a whole lot. Versus, I've seen Purdue open up with Middle Tennessee State, Indiana State, quite a few times. And obviously, it's nice to win, but it's also fun to see some teams that you maybe not typically see from a Power 4 standpoint.
Yeah, and you say like peer programs. Illinois did that to like the max because they like schedule. I think it was 4 home and homes. They did it was Virginia, Kansas, and Duke were the 3. So those are as peer programs as you can get for Illinois football. I think North Carolina might be the other one, which North Carolina is much better, has been much better.
Yeah.
It is fun to kind of see them play teams they don't get to play all that much at the power conference level. Now in football, it doesn't help you at all really to do that like it does basketball. Basketball, you want to stack that non-conference with the net ranking and all of that.
And I hope they change something with the playoff of like where the non-con at least strength of schedule matters to a degree,
Right.
Especially with unbalanced scheduling you get in conference play with some of these teams of not playing, you know, like you just brought up Indiana. Last year they played Ohio State. They didn't play Oregon. They didn't play Penn State. They got Michigan on a down year, which they can't help that part. Right. But it's nice to have those guys on a schedule, which they probably benefited just from being in the Big Ten East for so many years. Yeah. But I hope they at some point kind of add that strength. But also at the same time, it's like in today's world, these lower level and also the FCS, they need these games too because it funds their whole athletic department. So it's you can't kill those programs, but also from a entertainment standpoint, you like to have some decent opponents on the schedule, at least for me, from a season ticket holder. So
and I mean I like the 9-game conference schedule for sure, because I mean it is hard because as you said, I mean they're bye games essentially. I mean Army got paid I don't know how much money from Kansas State, and they ended up going in there and beating Kansas State over the weekend. So it funds the lower level programs, and that's probably why they had 4 non-conference games usually, and then it was 8 conference games, and now it's kind of, and of course we can open a big can of worms talking about the NIL and all of that, because that also hurts lower level programs. But it's exciting. Week 2 is usually I think it's usually the worst week of college football, just because I mean, week 1, so you'll have some big time, matchups like that, just with the excitement. But then week 2 and even week 3, really, it kind of blends into that, where it's kind of okay. You have the FCS teams are now playing, the Big Ten teams and stuff like that. We do have some Big Ten conference matchups this week.
Yeah, you got a couple.
Fun. But then after this week, it really gets into big boy territory essentially. And of course, Purdue has Notre Dame, but it's pretty much Big Ten play from here on out, which is exciting. And again, I can't believe it's already week 3 of the college football season. But any other takeaways regarding any other games? I know I didn't watch any of the Michigan-Oklahoma, but I saw Bryce Underwood was bad. He was like 9 for 24 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, freshman. Kind of saw with Arch Manning before going to Ohio State. Granted, Bryce is a true freshman. Tough scenario, but I mean that'll be interesting one to follow. I know there was the whole thing about him on the sideline going after one of his teammates. Supposedly, it was like more of like it was a constructive discussion versus what it sometimes is made to be on TV. The Cyhawk game didn't disappoint from a standpoint of it being
close,
and like actually one of the Derek Schultz, who works for Purdue and does a Purdue podcast, he joked on the Purdue pregame when talking about this game about how they always seem to end 16-13, and lo and behold, it ends 16-13. UCLA is really bad.
Yeah, I think they're the Northwestern's pretty bad.
Northwestern's bad.
I think they're the 2 worst teams in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, I mean they played Grambling, but Ohio State doesn't seem like they've had any drop off whatsoever. I was talking to one of my reps he's an Indiana grad, but he's a huge Ohio State fan, and he was like, I think he said they were favored by like 55. He's like, I wouldn't touch that bet at all. And then this morning we're like, wow, we should have done it because they won by 70.
What was it? Julian Sayin, I think, started out 18 of 18, which was an Ohio State record to start out a game completions. Yeah.
So my hope of their freshman QB not being good is proven to be false. And not a whole lot around the Big Ten. I mean, people kind of took care of who they were supposed to for the most part.
The biggest upset was probably South Florida over Florida.
Yes.
In the swamp, I mean, you have a directional school in your same state. That's a bad loss for Florida, and that might be the nail in the coffin for Napier. Coming into the year ranked wherever they were, top 20 at least, and now South Florida's ranked, which good for them. Their head coach Alex Golesh, it's kind of reminds me of Marcus Freeman a little bit. So Freeman was at Purdue when they were awful under Hazel, correct? So Alex Golesh was offensive line coach under Beckman at Illinois, and now he's doing really well at South Florida. So it's a similar situation. But I know Florida fans want Napier gone. They have a lot of hope.
Yeah, they say he saved his job last year. DJ Lagway did. But I think I saw today, I think based off the AP poll today, they have the hardest schedule for the rest of the season.
So. Yeah, their next 4. I'm gonna go look up their schedule real quick because I saw it today, and their next 4 is just brutal. Let's see here, Florida. They have at LSU Saturday. They have at Miami the next Saturday. Then they're off. Then they have Texas. Then they have at Texas A&M.
Yeah. So I think
brutal.
If they lose these next 2, I think that bye week is probably that might be Napier's going away party.
they have 2 bye weeks. Week 9's bye week.
Yeah.
They get a host Mississippi State, but Mississippi State just took it to didn't take it to them, but they beat Arizona State.
Arizona State, yeah.
Then they have a bye, and then they have Georgia at home, at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, then Tennessee and Florida State at home. There's a realistic chance they could go 2-10. I don't think Napier's going to survive 2-10.
No, he may not even survive. The second bye week. I mean, it's the SEC. I mean, as much as the Big Ten is, kind of trying to make a statement, but it's still the SEC is just an absolute gauntlet.
The crazy thing is they ran Dan Mullen out of town, and I think he was 32-14 there or something around there, where Napier's 20-20. So it's one of those, be careful what you wish for. I understand why I don't really understand now that I say that, why they ran Mullen out of town, because he had a pretty good first 3 years, and then his 4th year was kind of His 5th year was solid, but it's not good enough. But I mean, just be careful what you wish for. We've seen it so many other places.
Nebraska, they haven't.
Nebraska, exactly.
They haven't touched Pelini's record since he left, so they fired him.
I'm trying to think any other top 25 teams that played halfway decent, or Vanderbilt whooped Virginia Tech. They're not ranked though. Alabama.
Oregon took it.
Oh my gosh. State. Yeah. This has to be it for Gundy. I mean, what was it? 69-3? Was that the final score?
Yeah.
Gundy was whining about how Oregon has so much more money than Oklahoma State. They don't have 66 points worth more money. It's time for a splitting of ways there in Oklahoma.
Clemson struggled out the gate with Troy. That was one that I know the game was delayed, I think, for weather or something. But I was trying to follow that game, and I think they were down like 14-0 to start or something like that, and kind of clawed their way back.
It was, I think it was like 16-7 in the third quarter at one point, and then they ended up, scoring 20 unanswered or something. When I was listening to watching the Illinois game, the ESPN guy said it's a name your score kind of day for Penn State, and he said that, and it was like midway through the second quarter, and it was 7-0. Like how is that a name your point game if they're already struggling? And they ended up winning 34-0, but they were real sluggish. There it was kind of rainy too. Wisconsin struggled with Middle Tennessee for about a half, and then ended up pulling away.
Baylor upset SMU in double overtime.
Yeah, it was a great game. Syracuse found a way to beat UConn. UConn was winning the whole game. Syracuse took the lead, then UConn tied it, and it went to OT, and Syracuse ended up winning. And after the game, Syracuse coach Fran Brown made the team run sprints. It was funny how many people stayed and watched them run sprints. He was not very happy. Michigan State won a barn burner in double overtime too, 42-40 over Boston College.
Tennessee's offense looks incredible, so you got to think Nico probably had what's the problem there?
Definitely.
They've put up. I mean, obviously they played nobody, but they've put up some points. It'll be interesting to see.
Ole Miss went into Kentucky and won a good one, 30-23. Texas, as we said, Arch Manning had a bounce back game.
I wonder if this has got to be. I'm not fact checking it, but it has to be a record for like ranked teams scoring the most points in a week, because Ohio State had 70, Oregon had 69.
Tennessee had 72.
Yeah, Illinois put up 45. Florida State had 77. I mean, Indiana had like 56 or something. Alabama put up 73.
Utah 63.
Yeah, Texas Tech 62. Like
That's gotta be. Yeah. Here's an interesting one. BYU blew out Stanford 27-3, and there was video of Andrew Luck on the sideline after like the third pick. He's just like, "What I get myself into?"
Yeah.
But Frank Reich is their coach, isn't he?
Yeah, at least for now.
Interim,
interim, yeah.
On an interim basis. Well, anyway, you want to go through and pick our Big Ten games with confidence points.
Yes, sir.
Starting with I think this is Friday night, maybe?
Friday, yeah.
Indiana State.
32. It's an early Friday game.
That is an early one. Indiana State at Indiana.
I mean, if Purdue last year could win 48-0, I think Indiana's going to, whatever the spread is, they're going to cover that and probably hit the over by themselves. Yeah. Although I put them at, just I couldn't do it, I put them at my 14th confidence because I think there was 15 games.
There's only 15 games.
Yeah, they're my 14.
A couple buys this week. They're my 9. I feel like there's more blowout potential with some of these other ones here.
Yeah.
Looking at it. But New Mexico at UCLA.
Picking New Mexico.
Oh, man, that bad, huh?
Yeah. But for 2, just to, it's getting bad there.
I took UCLA, but only for 1, so I'm not that far off from where you are. Because they look like the worst team in the Big Ten. I mean, Nico Iamaleava looks awful. I mean, they got whooped by UNLV. Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, they did. And UNLV the first week, I can't remember who they played. They played a smaller school, and they struggled out the gate. I know.
Yeah,
we were kind of, as a Purdue fan, we were kind of following, just kind of see how they were post Barry Odom, and it didn't start out great, but they ended up winning. But they did not look good.
Yeah, they were a week 0 game. I forget who they played though, but they're 3-0. I think they're 3-0.
Yeah,
so far. So, let's see here. Oregon at Northwestern.
I have Oregon for 10.
This is the Big Ten Network kickoff game, or whatever they call their stupid pregame show that I never watch. What is it called? Do you know what it's called?
For the Big Ten? No,
yeah, no, I don't either.
I know Big Noon kickoff for Fox.
Yeah.
I don't know what Big Ten was
maybe,
called.
Is it I think it's Big Ten Tailgate. That was called?
Oh, yeah.
So this is the Big Ten Tailgate this week. I'm taking Oregon for 13. Let's see here. Central Michigan at Michigan.
I have Michigan bouncing back for 9.
I have Michigan for 4. I don't know why I only have 4 on them, but looking at the rest of the game, it makes sense. Michigan for 4. Wisconsin at Alabama.
Oh man, both teams need this in a way. I mean, obviously Alabama's gonna be favored, but if Wisconsin goes in there and wins, it's over for DeBoer. If Wisconsin gets run out of town, it could be the seat just gets a lot hotter for Fickle. But I have Bama only for 4 though, just because both teams, you don't know how they're going. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's Bama, so the talent should be there, but they have not looked good just out the gate.
Yeah, it's also rare for like a true road game too, for a team like Wisconsin to go to Alabama. And I'm taking Bama for 5, but it never seems like Bama really hosts big time non-conference games, does it? It's usually neutral site or something. But yeah, I'm taking Bama for 5. Houston Christian at Nebraska.
Nebraska put up some points. They're looking, obviously the win against Cincinnati the first week in a quote unquote neutral game in Kansas City. But I think they'll blow out Houston Christian. Sounds like a high school team. They're my 13th. Yeah,
I have Nebraska for 14. Towson at Maryland. I haven't watched a single snap of Maryland football this year.
Nope. They're right in the middle for me. I have Maryland for 8.
I have Maryland for 11. I think Towson is in Maryland as well, so it's an interstate rivalry, if you can call it that in football. Speaking of interstate rivalry, we have Villanova at Penn State.
Forgot Villanova had a football team. Penn State for 12.
I have Penn State for 12 as well. USC at Purdue.
Well, actually, a note I forgot to say. I don't know if you had seen it, but with Barry Odom going 2-0, he is the first Purdue coach to start his career at Purdue at 2-0 since what's the guy's name? I just lost it, but it's since like 1915.
Oh man.
What's it? Yeah, since Cleo O'Donnell in 1916.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cleo.
Because if you think about it from a Purdue standpoint, usually one of our first two games has always been Notre Dame. So the first time head coach is like, I mean, Walters lost to Fresno State his first game. Brom lost to Louisville. Hazel lost to Cincinnati. Tiller lost to Toledo before beating Notre Dame in his second game. So it's been a hot minute. But I think it was today. It started out as like a 19-point favorite for USC. I think it's up today up to 21.5. So I just hope it doesn't get ugly like Purdue had seen last year over and over and over again. I'm praying USC's defense, whatever is their defense, stays in California. Obviously they're going to put up a ton of points. I'm hoping Purdue can at least keep it competitive. But I'm a homer, so Purdue for 1.
It's a noon start, right? So it'll be
3:30.
Oh, it is 3:30. Okay, so that helps USC a little bit.
Yeah,
that would have been a 9:00 kickoff. That might be.
Yeah, they haven't won last year. They did not win a game in the Central Eastern time zone.
I remember that.
So I'm hoping that trend stays true, but it's going to be a tall task.
They are putting up a ton of points as well, and it'll be really interesting to see Purdue against a Power 4. High. They don't call them high majors in football, do they? Power 4 in football.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say. I haven't watched USC at all, and I haven't watched Purdue at all either. So I'm just kind of basing this off of last year. So I'm taking USC for 8.
That's fair.
21-point spread. That seems high for me.
Yeah,
I thought it might be like 12 to 15 or something, just because you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought Purdue's defenses looked pretty solid, obviously against the competition they've played. They look like they actually know what they're doing, which is a vast improvement from last year. They seem to be tackling well. They seem to be playing hard, which is nice. Just I don't know. Obviously, the talent level between Ball State and Illinois is a lot different than USC. Right. Now, where it may help is their offensive coordinator came from USC last year, so maybe there's some familiarity. Who knows how much that actually will do? And actually, I think USC's quarterback started for Odom at UNLV his first year.
Oh, really?
That's right. So there's some familiarity, but it could. I just hope it's a competitive game for most of it. That's kind of I think all Purdue fans want right now.
Well, you kind of saw the familiarity last year when Purdue and Illinois played. Walters took over play calling duties, which is weird, but they put up almost 50 points, if not 50 points, just because he knew that defense so well. Because Illinois' defensive coordinator was defensive back coach under Walters. They knew each other very well, and it's obviously the exact same system essentially. So maybe that will play a role this week for Purdue. But moving on to Norfolk State at Rutgers. I'll be tuning into this one.
Oh, yeah. I got Rutgers for 7.
I have Rutgers for 7 as well. Youngstown at Michigan State.
I have MSU for 6.
I have Michigan State for 3. Ohio at Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio actually is. I think they've played pretty decently to start.
They just beat West Virginia this week.
That being said, Ohio State doesn't mess around. They're my 15 just because of they are unreal right now.
Yeah, same. They're my 15. They're the best team in the country. 2 weeks in. I mean, it's hard to really crown anyone, but Western Michigan at Illinois.
Illini looking pretty good. So I watched a little bit of that game. It sounded like, from what I read on the Twitter, that Duke shot themselves in the foot a lot, but Illinois made them pay. And I mean, obviously having the continuity with Altmaier back again and a lot of those guys back, their offense looks pretty dang good. So I've got Illinois for 11.
Yeah, Illinois was +5 in turnovers, which you're going to win a lot of games doing that. But Luke Altmaier looks like one of the top, 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the Big Ten so far, and having that continuity. You get all 5 offensive linemen back, and they looked terrible in the first half on Saturday. I think at halftime, Illinois had -1 yard rushing.
Wow.
on like 15 carries. It was terrible. Now, some of that Altmaier took some sacks too, and that hurt.
That's that.
But still, they weren't getting any push. But then they ended up with, I think, 150 yards rushing, or pretty close to it, and Altmaier had a ton of time to throw. So yeah, that was a game, and I talked about it last week with my dad on the show. That's a game if Illinois wants to, show they're actually for real, they have to go in there and take care of business, and they did. So
they did, yeah.
We'll see. This I don't think we'll learn much this week, but then big one the next week for them. They just can't overlook Western Michigan. So I have Illinois for 10. This is the first time Illinois and Western Michigan have played since PJ Fleck versus Lovie Smith back in 2016, and Western Michigan beat that Illinois team 34-10. It was a whooping. I think that it was game 2 or 3 of the Lovie Smith era, and I think a lot of people jumped off 3 games in after that one. So we'll see if this one goes any better. UMass, who is arguably the worst team in the FBS, travels to Iowa.
I got Iowa for 5. Now the question is, can they score more than 30 points this game?
That's the question. They're already burning their quarterback's jersey after 2 games. It's systemic. Yeah, it's systematic at this point there at Iowa, because you can try a whole bunch of different quarterbacks there, but the play calling stays the same regardless of play caller too. So I think it's getting time, depending on how this year goes, it's getting time for the athletic director there to kind of approach Ferentz about retirement, because it hasn't been good here for a few years. They've been good because they're always going to be pretty solid because they play defense and special team and all that. But that offense is terrible. I know Iowa fans are mad about it, but I have Iowa for 6. They should handle them. I don't know if they'll give a point to UMass unless the offense gives it to them. But
I agree.
Last one here, a fairly intriguing matchup. We have Minnesota at Cal.
Yeah, this one was, when I was picking these games, like I was in the process of picking a lot of home teams. I think this was one that fell victim to that. So I picked Cal for 3. I know nothing about Cal, but just the fact that Minnesota's got to travel the distance, and I just don't like PJ still. So that's why I'm taking Cal.
I'm taking Minnesota for 2. I don't know anything about Cal either. I think they're 2-0 to start the year, but I don't think they've really played anyone either. Minnesota hasn't, and they were up. Well, was it 63-0 at halftime against Northwestern State, or 56-0? So
that's
again,
like traveling west to an ACC school.
yeah, that's a weird one. I keep forgetting they're in the ACC.
Yeah,
I keep thinking they're an independent because they're out there on the West Coast. But that'll do it for week 3 of the Big Ten. Top 25 matchups. Honestly, a lot of the top 25 teams are in the Big Ten. And is there an actual top 25 match? We have South Florida at Miami on the CW.
Probably the biggest game in CW history. I'm trying to find here. I'll take your Canes.
They're 17-point favorites. I don't think the South Florida Magic will last too much longer.
No.
Give me Miami. We have Florida at LSU. Brutal.
Yeah, this is, I think, the game where LSU fans, for tailgating, they grill up Gator for tailgates. I think LSU takes it to them.
Yeah, LSU struggled with Louisiana Tech a little bit. I think they won 23-7. I'm sure old Brian Kelly there was not very happy with them. So I think, that's a rough one for Florida after a very bad home loss. So give me LSU. The game of the week, I would say, is Texas A&M at 0-1 Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's had a week off since that loss at Miami. I thought they still looked pretty dang good despite the loss, unfortunately.
Yeah, they did.
I'm gonna take Notre Dame in a close one just because it's at home.
Yeah, it's weird to have a week 2 bye game or bye week. For Notre Dame, and 14 days to prepare. I don't know if that's 13 days to prepare. I don't know if that really helps you all that much. Because you kind of stew in the loss a little bit, but yeah, at home, it's their home opener. I think they should handle it pretty easily. So I think that's going to do it for college football.
There is one other game, number 6 Georgia at 15 Tennessee.
I didn't even see that on here.
Yeah, at 3:30 Eastern. I don't like it, but I think I'm going to take Tennessee in that. I mean, obviously Georgia's defense is Georgia's defense, but I'm afraid if Tennessee wins this, it's going to be absolutely miserable for the rest of the year.
It's going to be miserable for the rest of the year, regardless they win this or not. But give me Georgia just to be different.
Yeah.
Give me the road team because I don't know if Tennessee has really proven they can win these huge matchups anywhere.
Yeah.
So hopefully for your sake, Tennessee loses. But that's going to do it for college football. Moving on here, I'm going to do On This Day real quick to educate you on the happenings of the sports world on this day. Let's see. It's a bad week for On This Day. On this day in 1955, the Brooklyn Dodgers clinched the NL pennant, which was the earliest clinching of a National League pennant ever. That was back when you didn't have playoffs back then. You had one team in each league, and you played in the World Series. That's it. So Dodgers had the best record in the National League, and they made the World Series.
It's like the BCS championship.
Yeah. On this day this is a terrible week.
Which is surprising given.
Yeah. Maybe it's because it's regular season football. They don't have a lot on here. A lot of women's tennis. On this day in 1972, Chicago Cub legend Fergie Jenkins won his 20th game for the 6th consecutive year. It's getting to the point where I don't know if we'll see too many 20-game winners ever.
No.
Anymore. And now he did it 6 straight years. That was back when he was throwing about 350 innings.
Yeah.
Of course, those guys were throwing about 78 miles an hour.
Right.
Their arms lasted a little better. On this day in 1973, Hank Aaron set a record for most home runs in one league. That's a stupid stat. 733. Played his entire career in the National League. Of course, 733 though. I mean, Ruth had 714. How did he just set it? Did he keep breaking his own record, and that's why they put it on here?
Right. Yeah.
That's the only way that could happen. On this day in 1980, Fergie Jenkins in here again. He was suspended indefinitely after being arrested in Toronto for possession of drugs. On this day in 1985, Cincinnati Red Pete Rose tied Ty Cobb for the hits record. Both of those guys are very, very good men. On this day in 1991, Buffalo Bills quarterback Jim Kelly passed for 6 touchdowns against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow.
It's a pretty good day. Let's see. We might be done with On This Day this week. We are done with On This Day. This Day is brought to you by, if my computer allows me, Mooney Wood Laser Crafts for all your wood. Every single time Tanner's gone, I never have the read in front of me, and I'm sure he sent it to me via email. So I'm sorry, Mooney, but for all your wood laser craft needs, contact Thad Mooney at Mooney Wood Laser Crafts. Christmas is coming, as Tanner always says. He says that in February, though.
Yeah.
And so contact Mooney for some really creative.
It makes really good stuff.
Woodworking, he does. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna do blind ranking here. Ranking. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. You are the biggest Purdue basketball fan that I know. So I have a Purdue basketball blind ranking. It is random, like sixth men type.
Ooh,
so name your rank your sixth man type. Now it was hard to find good ones for this one because Matt Painter's players usually start out as 6 men and then they're all league by the time they're seniors, which doesn't happen at really any other place except Purdue.
Yeah.
But here I am.
What's my criteria here? Is it like personal favorite or just like how their career ended?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay.
So you can go by personal favorite. There's a guy on here that I think would be your top personal favorite because I remember you wouldn't shut up about him for a while. And we made fun of you a lot for it. But starting here with Mason Gillis.
Oof, I'll go personal. This is gonna get dicey. I'll go personal favorite.
All right,
Mason, man. I hate doing this, but I'm gonna put him at 3. Guy who actually started his redshirt freshman year, he redshirted, and then kind of his sixth man was definitely his senior year. Went to the Final Four. Just kind of did everything you want him to do. Rebounded really well. He was tough as hell. Could hit threes. He broke Robbie Hummel's 3-point record at Mackey for a game against Penn State his junior year. Not the most athletic, hell of a baseball player in high school. I know that before all his injuries. Then he went to Duke and went to another Final Four. But yeah, he's definitely a kid that went through a lot and is loved by Purdue fans everywhere. Should be anyways.
It never felt like he missed when he shot a 3 ball. It looked good. And
Underwood was glad to see him go. Underwood always said something about it. He hated playing Mason Gillis.
Yeah. Brandon Newman.
Ooh, Brandon. I'll put.
Where'd he end up? Western Kentucky? Is that where he was?
He went to Western Kentucky, and then he followed Steve Lutz to Oklahoma State. I think got to use his last year at Oklahoma State. Never really. I mean, his freshman year was the COVID year where no one was in the stands. He played really well, showed a lot of promise, and then kind of the emergence of Jaden Ivey that year. Because there was a whole thing like where Sasha got COVID and had to miss some games, so that inserted Jaden into the starting lineup. And then Sasha came back, and Painter wasn't going to sit Sasha, so someone had to go to the bench. And it was Brandon Newman. I feel like just after that, like just kind of was never the same. There's one year he hardly ever played, then kind of had a showing in the Big Ten tournament, and kind of kept Purdue alive in it. But yeah, just kind of had a lot of showed a lot of promise, but just I don't know if it was a mental thing. I know he had a lot of personal stuff happened in his life, and his dad died of COVID during that whole mess. So that was probably something, but I'll put him at 5 just because he didn't end his career at Purdue.
That's fair. I always forget Ivy and Newman came in together. Yeah,
it was Newman and Gillis came in together.
That's right, Newman, and they both redshirted.
Yep. Yeah,
that's right. But yeah, it is interesting you said that because it did seem like that first half of the kind of the COVID year, Newman was kind of their guy, like the freshman, man, this guy's gonna be good. And then second half, it was all Ivy. I mean, he hit that huge buzzer beater type shot at Ohio State.
Yep.
Hit a bunch of big shots, and he kind of just took over. Number 3 here, your boy Aaron Wheeler.
He was my boy. Man, this is tough. Yeah, a guy who, again, his freshman year was the 2019 year where Purdue was a stupid play away from going to a Final Four. Him along with Eric Hunter, Sasha that year as well, but Wheeler definitely kind of shined in the last half of the year. Was kind of that guy that I always wanted Purdue to have, of like that 6'8", bouncy guy who could shoot really well. I know Dan Dockage was comparing him to like Kevin Durant after that year. And he just tanked after that. Ended up transferring, went to St. John's, never really did a whole lot there. But he still, I mean, it's cool to see him. He still comes back. I know he was like in the stands for that Final Four run in like the Purdue section. So that was cool to see him come back. It was kind of those things where it was just, the writing was on the wall, and there wasn't any bad blood when he transferred. Again, in my heart, I want to put him higher, but I think I'll put him at 4 again because he just couldn't. He didn't. My expectations were just too high for him. It's my fault. It's my fault.
You have your 1 and 2 spots open.
I do.
I think you're going to be upset about the next 2 guys on the list. Nogel Eastern.
I actually really like No Gel. I think one of those things where he just got some bad advice. Again, that 2019 team, he was a freshman. He really helped out just from a defense standpoint. He was massive and played a point guard role, but would D up the other team's best guard. Kind couldn't shoot to save his life.
No, he couldn't.
But now he's all. Then he left, went to Michigan. At least on Twitter he did, and then ended up at Howard. Didn't ever played at Howard. Had a rap career for a brief stint, and then I think he was like playing pro in like Mexico, and it was all of a sudden shooting right-handed.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna be mad at this, but I'll put him at 2. I'm gonna really hate this.
Yeah. This is a guy I completely forgot about because he was on bad Purdue teams. Bryson Scott.
Actually, he was an IU killer. Actually, both Scott.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, because he always played well against IU. When he was at Purdue, and then he went to Indiana. He went to.
One of them went to IPFW.
Yeah, he went. I think he went to IPFW. His brother was at Indiana State, and then Bryson went to IPFW. Yeah, he was a little bulldog. A lot of hype coming out of high school when Purdue got him. And yeah, just didn't. It was just that whole run of Purdue awful teams.
Were you with Tanner and I? You were with Tanner and I, right? When we went up to that Fort Wayne holiday tourney back in like 2010. I think he was a sophomore. James Black or one of the Blackmans hit a buzzer beater for Lure. I think he was with Lures.
I went to one of them. I think we saw Juan Marrero play, maybe. Did we see him play for one of those?
We saw him play against CMA because he was at Bowman. Maybe for some reason I thought you were with us. I was with Tanner anyway.
Yeah.
And we went and saw he and his brother played in this, or maybe they didn't. Maybe it was, I know Rafe Davis played in this holiday tournament because we kind of went to see Rafe Davis.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I don't think I went to this because I remember hearing the story.
Okay, yeah. My old boss sees Kramer. I don't think Payne.
It was Kramer. Yeah,
Kramer,
it was Kramer.
Goes, you better get him to play some defense because Rafe Davis had played no defense at all.
Lick of defense,
and then he ends up two-time defensive player of the year or something like that. So we always credit him.
If I were to re-rank, Gillis 1. Gillis 1, Wheeler 2, Newman 3, No Gel 4, Bryson 5.
That's fair. That's probably how I do it.
Flip it.
If it were me, I probably would have had them all at 5. So that's just me though. But blind ranking segment is brought to you by Proforma Print 2 Promo Group. For all your printing needs, contact Proforma Print 2 Promo Group. Now we got about 12 minutes to talk NFL here.
Yeah.
Week 1.
I'm not sure if you're gonna give me like a Zach Edey when he was a 6-man as freshman and sophomore.
No. That was too. That'd be too easy. Because it was so hard because a lot of those guys were like bench guys freshman sophomore year, and then by senior year they're like, oh, this guy was a second team all Big Ten. How did that happen? And Eastern started more games than not, I think, but there was one year where he was like, I think he had maybe one start or something. But he was really the only guy on that list that was like a guy that started a lot because Gillis was pretty much primarily off the bench.
Yeah, he was one of those guys too. Yeah, he didn't usually start, but he usually finished games. Especially that. Yeah, he would usually come in for Trey Kaufman-Renn that Final Four year.
Yeah,
because he would rebound the hell out of the ball.
Yep. So, 3 winners, 3 losers in the NFL. Who's one of your winners?
Sorry, J-Man. The Colts.
Their opponent is on the other side of my list.
Same. I figured I was gonna give you that one. Did not see. I mean, obviously, not a Colts fan. Didn't all I kind of hear is the negative side of a lot of things. Of Richardson being the Colts have the most inaccurate QB room in the NFL, and lo and behold, Danny Dimes goes out there and balls out.
Looked like prime Peyton.
Yeah, it was impressive. He actually had time to throw, which he never had in New York. I was watching the game I was at a restaurant with some family, and I saw it, and I was like, all of a sudden it was like 17-0. I was like, holy crap, what is going on?
Some turnovers were mixed in there as well.
Yeah.
My first winner, Buffalo Bills, down 40 to whatever it was, 40 to 25 in the fourth quarter. Came storming back, or 39-25. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, came storming back and win. I love Josh Allen, and I hate that I like him because he's very likable, and he's a guy I should hate. Honestly, he's in my favorite team's division. He's kicked their tail for 6 years now. He's just so dang likable.
Yep. My second winner, I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Kicking off the season in Sao Paulo with against the Chiefs. I thought they were gonna fall victim to the Chiefs' voodoo magic once again.
Yep.
They held on. Good win to start the year, especially a divisional game. With the travel and all that. So yeah, good start to Chargers season.
Green Bay Packers are my second winner.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I know. They had a lot of buzz with the Micah Parsons trade, but I saw that as far as the Lions go, that Jared Goff has had 5 play callers in his career, and of the 3 play callers that were not Ben Johnson or Sean McVay, he is 0-19-1 in his career. So maybe he's a product of Ben Johnson and Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Wow. But Packers really took it to him. So it'll be interesting to see if Detroit's able to bounce back, because could just be a 2-year wonder for them, which would be fitting.
Yeah. Last one, a couple of different ways here. I'll throw T-Dog a bone here. I'll give it to his Broncos.
Absolutely not.
Probably didn't deserve to win some of that game the way they played, but their defense stepped up huge. You see, I know Bo turned it over a few times, and it's hard to turn it over that many times in the NFL and still win, but that defense, the defense was really good and held firm. So there you go, T-Dog.
My last winner, Pittsburgh Steelers, going into New York, hitting a long, I think it was a 60-yard field goal to win it, and then got a big stop late. Aaron Rodgers played the best he'd played in probably 3 years.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. It happened in New York.
Yeah.
Against them. But I thought Justin Fields looked pretty good, and good win for the Steelers. They needed that one. 3 losers.
Starting off, Giants. Only note I have in there is just Russell Wilson sucks.
He's
not good.
My first loser is the Miami Dolphins, and I have a hard time not overreacting, but at the same time, it's like, okay, it's week 1. They played bad.
Yeah.
It was, Irsay's, first game since he passed away, all that crap. Dolphins look like the worst team in football. It was the least I'd gotten into a game ever. They found themselves down 17-0 at like the start of the second quarter, and I'm just kind of sitting there, and there was no end to sight. Tua regressed. Mike McDaniel, not a leader of men. He needs to be fired. And I think he'll be fired by week 4 or 5.
Really? Wow.
Especially looking at their schedule coming up. Chris Greer, their GM, should have been gone 6 years ago. He is the longest tenured GM in the history of the NFL to have not won a playoff game. He's been there 9 years and 8 months.
Wow.
Never won a playoff game. He is the guy that put the roster together. They look like trash. There's zero depth. You have divas all over the place. Tyreek Hill's throwing fits on the sideline, and then he comes out and doesn't know where he's supposed to line up. That's a bad leader there.
Yeah.
Their offensive line trash. Defensive line was supposed to be a strength. They got zero pressure on Danny Dimes. Secondary sucks. The only thing that looked good was their kick return. That's because they had to return about 8 kicks yesterday. So that was the only positive I can take from that game. It was brutal.
Yeah. Second loser, Detroit Lions, as we kind of talked about already. I hope from a Bears fan standpoint that the Ben Johnson loss is why they weren't so good. I guess we'll kind of find out here these first couple weeks, but they did not look good.
Atlanta Falcons at home. You got to win that divisional game. Missed field goal late. Can't do it.
Yep, and then last one I kind of had fun with AFC South teams. So to start with a T, the Titans and Texans both did not look good. Titans obviously going to Denver had plenty of chances. Cam Ward had his receivers couldn't hold on to the ball, and then obviously Texans, after winning division last year, just did not.
Yeah,
came out pretty flat.
My last loser here, New England Patriots. You play a bad opponent at home, game 1 of the Vrabel era. You have year 2 of Drake May. You got to win that against the Ravens. And credit the Raiders. Pete Carroll became the oldest coach ever to win an NFL game at 73 years old. So Credit to them. We got about 5 minutes here. We got to rifle through the NFL pick'em.
Right.
Starting with a good Thursday night matchup: Washington Commanders at the Green Bay Packers.
I have, where was that at here? What was it? Sorry, what was it again?
Washington at Green Bay.
Do I not have it on here? Did I miss it? How did I miss it?
That's all right.
Yeah, I might have missed that one. I'm not sure how, but I'm gonna go Green Bay. They look pretty good.
Yeah.
I
have Green Bay for 14. Washington looked pretty good as well, but at Lambeau, it's hard to win there. Second game here, you have Jacksonville Jaguars at the Cincinnati Bengals.
I've got for that one, let's see here. I'm trying to find my list is all over the place. What is going on here? My list is all messed up. What was your pick?
I have the Cincinnati Bengals at 15.
I have Bengals. I put them at 8. I guess little did I know about the NFL, but I was like, yeah, I just wasn't sold on Bengals, and so we'll see.
They look bad against the Browns. They found a way to win, but it was uninspiring. The New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys.
I have the Cowboys for 16 because the Giants are bad.
Yeah.
Cowboys look pretty good despite losing to Philly on Thursday. Thursday. That was.
Yeah, it was Thursday.
Yeah, it's Thursday. Yeah. So I think, just the Giants are just bad. And obviously being a divisional opponent. Yeah.
I have the Cowboys for 13. I think they bounce back. Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. It's hard to pick this game after not seeing the Bears.
That's why I have the Bears for 1 for that exact reason.
I have the Lions for 9 for that exact reason. The LA Rams at the Tennessee Titans.
I have the Rams for 13.
I have the Rams for 6. Titans
didn't look good, and the Rams were okay, but
it's tough for LA teams to go out east, though. Although I think it's Nashville Central Time. I don't know.
Yes, they are.
I thought they were. New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins.
I have the Patriots for 3.
Yeah, that's how bad the Dolphins looked on Sunday that I wouldn't pick them either, but I am picking them. This will be the J-Man's Book It Prediction of the Week. J-Man's Book It Prediction of the Week is brought to you by Travis Watchering Insurance Agency for life, home, auto, business, renters, workers, common, farm insurance. Contact Travis 219-869-4561. Book it. Dolphins for 3. Niners at New Orleans Saints.
I have the Niners for 11.
I have the Niners for 12. Let's see here. Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets.
Bills. I made this before the game was over. Probably would have bumped it up. I got Bills for 14.
I have Bills for 11. I did as well. I think I would have bumped that up too.
Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I have Steelers for 10.
I have the Steelers for 10 as well. Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens.
I have Ravens for 15.
I have the Ravens for 16. Denver Broncos at the Indianapolis Colts.
I have the Broncos for 9.
I have the Indianapolis Colts for 1. I think the Broncos were very unimpressive. Bo Nix looked terrible on Sunday. I didn't watch though, so that's box score surfing. Let's see here. Carolina Panthers at the Arizona Cardinals.
I have the Cardinals for 4.
I have the Cardinals for 8. Philadelphia Eagles at the Kansas City Chiefs.
I have the Eagles for 2.
I have the Kansas City Chiefs for 5. On this day, good Lord. Atlanta Falcons at the Minnesota Vikings.
I had the Vikings for 5. Again, hard to tell after not seeing the Vikings, but it's the Falcons look bad.
I have the Vikings for 2. Again, it's hard with the Vikings not playing yet. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Houston Texans.
Bucks for 6.
I have the Houston Texans for 4. And last one here, LA Chargers at the Vegas Raiders.
Chargers for 7.
I have the Chargers for 7 as well. Last thing here is to do birdie or bogey. Can you name the top 5 career passing yardage leaders at Purdue in order?
Okay, I'm going to go with number 1, Drew Brees.
Yes.
Number 2 Is it Curtis Painter?
It is Curtis Painter.
Yes, I know he beat up on the Indiana States and the Ball States of the world. Couldn't beat a good team, but number 3. Is it David Blau?
Close, but it's not.
Dang it. Okay.
This is the only guy I really hadn't heard of. I'd heard of him.
Okay. Was it Mark Herman?
It was Mark Herman. He was third.
My dad had a class with him when Mark Herman was a freshman. He was a big time player back then, like coming out of high school. And my dad always has a story with the guy. They were taking attendance, and the professor said Mark Herman, and the whole class turned around and looked at him because they're like, "Look, Mark Herman's in our class." You said close, so was David Blau 4th?
He was 4th.
Is Kyle Orton 5th?
He was 5th. That was a pretty good. That was a pretty good job. There's no way I'd be able to do that. But
the hint of not knowing, because I almost said I was going to say Kyle Orton for 3, but when you gave me that hint, I was okay. I was like, it was either him or like Len Dawson. Yeah. I was like, Len Dawson was probably a little too old for then.
Herman, Blau, and Orton all had in between like 9,100 yards and 9,700 yards, so it was real close.
Yeah, there. So it was like Len Dawson. You had obviously Bob Greasy, but again, I was like, is that too far to where like they're not throwing the ball?
They probably weren't throwing it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, that's kind of had to lean on the newer guys. So.
Well, thanks for joining me on the Tanner and J-Man show this week, and we will be back at Tanner will be back next Monday for another episode of the Tan and J-Man show. Have a fantastic week, everybody.